Masai closing hard in that last K. He wanted to bridge that gap, so he got up on Kiptu's shoulder.
For me, running has been my everything. It's been in my family, my town, and my blood. I'm now getting ready for my first ever marathon, and I'm ready.
That's what we said. We were all like, oh my gosh.
I did not
Freeze and shine.
I've never had a toilet pants yet.
Oh, she's not accepting some is good.
I told her this morning wear it, and then she goes, no.
I never wear tights for workouts, but warm-ups.
Yes, you know, yeah.
YouTube is the best.
Yeah, and I was like, there's light inside the restaurant. Yeah. No, yeah.
Always recommended it.
I'm okay now.
Cool. All right, Alex. So do you want to tell us about your first ever memory you have of running?
Yeah, man, I think I remember I was in primary school, probably like standard 4, which is equal to like middle school kind of. So I was watching my sister run in high school, so just happened to go visit, and there was a running event. And there are a couple of semi-pro runners, but my sister was the one winning 10K race, 32 laps, because it's a small field. I remember that I was like, this is brutal, man, the most competitive sport. Because at that time you're just young, you're just like kicking around soccer balls or something. So yeah, man. I don't know, man. At that time, I just, you're just young. Your mind is not even that deep into it. But I just thought running is brutal sport. It's just, just because people are sweating, breathing heavily. Of course. At that time, I just thought running was really the most brutal sport.
Did you want to run when you saw her run?
I don't think so. Growing up, I don't think at that time yet I was into started one until I saw them on TV now, like running in Europe. That's what the time that now. I wanna be on flights, going to somewhere cool, winning those races on TV. That's when. But at that time, I was just like, you know what? I think I just wanna play the sports, soccer or handball.
We'll have somebody to hand you stuff at basically 3, 6, 9, or 5K, 10K, 15K,
Okay.
20K, essentially.
Yeah, I got just hold this for the next one, just in case I need it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this in my pocket. This one
Yeah,
didn't
it's
fit
small,
in
man.
the...
So, when do you want these ones?
So probably like 15.
15K?
Yeah.
So when will you get this one?
Like 5, 10.
5, 10?
5 and 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 and probably.
And then this will be 15, 20?
Yeah, depending on how I feel. Probably it's more than probably, but I just have to in case,
Okay. So where's the table at then? For Lauren, I guess.
Yeah, so...
Because if there's any way I could just swap it out. I could just throw this one down. Do you want to see if Lauren's close? Because if we start close together, it'll make the table much better. What's it? If we start similar times, it'll make all the stuff out there on the table work easier. Okay. If you can just, Lauren, how close are you?
A couple minutes, maybe.
Yeah, like 2 minutes maybe?
I don't know what I want to wear. Hey guys, I'm Lauren Higgins with NEZ Elite. I am about 3.5 weeks out from Chicago Marathon. It's my first World Major Marathon, so super stoked about that. And today is my last really long continuous tempo. I'm slated to do 14 miles at a marathon effort. So yeah, looking forward to a good one and just practicing fueling and staying as relaxed as I can for 14 miles. It's me and Alex going to Chicago. It's been fun. It's been fun seeing. I mean, he's in amazing shape, and he's a pro, so he's not new to competing well by any means. But it is really fun to be training alongside somebody who is about to run their first ever marathon. So I'm super excited for his debut, and we train pretty differently. And obviously, I don't run with him for his workouts, but yeah, it's been fun, and I'm like super happy to have a teammate there with me.
You pretty much, like when I grew up, my family was like, you gotta go to school, you gotta take your book serious. So you go to high school where pretty much you have to choose a sport, but running isn't that popular in high school in Kenya. It isn't that popular, especially the school I went to was a big school, which they take the sport serious. So like my family also, I don't think they supported me that much because they just like, all right, you gotta go to school, be a doctor or be something, families out there, they just wanna make the best out of it. But back on the mind, I knew, these people in my family run, so should have something. So I just think that my family really played a big role. I was just saying, after high school, you're probably gonna get to start training. That time I was playing other sports, but like, I have my teachers, my other teammates were like, oh yeah, I saw your brother running on TV, I saw your brother on news winning. So now, even when running season comes, like track season, they're like, oh, cross country season, like Alex, you gotta be on the team to run. I was not training to be a runner, but when running season comes, you get pressure from your fellow students, fellow teacher, other teachers, and I find myself running, winning those like races early on in the season, like division level or district level. So now I find like, oh, maybe there's something special I can do in running, and like back of my mind, I knew I'm a okay runner, so I just have to do something. Probably need more training to do it. So at that point now I was like, oh, it might be something that I might be better than trying other sports. So at that time you're more ambitious, you want to accomplish these all big things, but now like you see it among these people that they have already accomplished those big things and they're telling you relax. But in my mind I thought it's gonna be like 5 months, 6 months, I'll be on the TV, running. But it didn't happen, so I get kind of discouraged. Then I was like, I joined college at the end of the summer of 2015. I went to Moi University in Kenya, and that's when I started studies. Put a little bit running, behind, probably second to school again. So like, yeah, I was up and down for that. I come back to running, I take off for like until the summer 2016. That's when I really started seriously training. So my coach, Vince Giambanco, so he happened to be visiting Kenya at that time. That's how they come to recruit local talent. And at that time, I didn't know much about NCAA at all. I didn't know much. I was just doing my regular training, running around, doing my workout at Cameron Stadium, the famous Cameron Stadium. And someone walks to me, I think it was a coach from somewhere else, I don't remember, probably Eastern Kentucky, I don't remember well, but there were a couple of coaches, they just, and they were like, do you know you can keep on training and studying for free? And I was like, he was like, you can come to my hotel, we can talk more. Yeah, and I got in contact with these guys, I saw them, we went to another time trial, and I did well. I think I was second place, so just from base training. And from then I came in more in contact with Vince because he was more involved, talking to my siblings, my other telling him, maybe he had more influence into, me going to Offshore, just because he was getting me more about, NCAA, specifically sending me videos of other runners, sending me more information, websites to learn more about NCAA, and that's when we became more close with Vince.
Okay, yeah, I'm Vince Giambanco. I'm director of track and field, cross country. Sorry, can I start over? I'm Vince Giambanco. I'm director of track and field and cross country at Hofstra University. So I started here in 2014, and we knew it was going to be some time until we had a full scholarship open, and so we're really looking at by 2018, which is a long way away. Who do we want to recruit with that scholarship? And so took years of networking and talking to people and searching, and all of that led to Alex and I linking up. Got to see him run. It wasn't overly fast or anything that, like, as far as results that would jump off the page, but if you saw him run, which I'm sure you've seen him run, he looks world class, like even prior to him having the fitness to actually run those times. So that combined with meeting his family and also understanding their pedigree in the sport, and then meeting Alex and, you know, learning like who he was as a person, just made everything no-brainer as far as like, this is the guy that we want to recruit and that we want to give this scholarship to. Yeah, so it was a lot all at once, and I remember texting him. I think he stopped maybe in Germany on the way. He was, I think, from Nairobi, Kenya to Germany to New York. And I think I asked him how he was doing in Germany, and he was pretty scared.
So different when my first tour was JFK Kennedy, so you can imagine just a big airport it was, trying to locate my luggage, trying to clear customs. So of course I came at the right time. It was end of summer, like end of mid-August or late August, I remember well. And the weather was friendly, so I really enjoyed my first few weeks.
You know, he got here, he had to go to a junior college first in order to gain admission into Hofstra. And I remember he got to the United States with just a grocery bag with a couple of shirts and shorts in it. And like watching his results during that fall, he wasn't jumping off, you know, the page all at once. You know, he was getting beat by a lot of people, but I think he was having fun actually racing and, you know, being here. And then he transferred over after that fall to us. So I got to watch firsthand him enjoy the cold weather. He didn't complain about it.
And I had a blast. Of course, new environment, new teammates. Everything you're seeing is new. Everything you're seeing is you're learning new stuff. You know, but I didn't struggle that much until like mid-fall stroke early winter. That's when now everything changed for me. I was like, oh yeah, this is a different world. I gotta get ready for this. And cross-country season, you know, I've seen these old videos of people running in snow. I was not ready for that.
Figuring out, you know, gloves and jackets and all those things was a bit of an adjustment for him, but never once did he complain. He knew that NCAA cross-country championships could be in the cold, and so his whole thing was like, I just want to be able to adapt to whatever the situation is, and be ready for it, you know, because that's life, and you know that's what I'm going to be dealt with in races, and I don't want to let anything get in the way of my success. So he did well. He was really quiet at first, but over time he really came out of his shell. If you got to know him a little bit, he obviously had a great sense of humor, and you know, as time went on, really became a leader on the team. Like
coming from Kenya now, I was just a small dog basically in a big bag. So like you have like all those world-class athletes, and they drop in your first rep, and you just have to hang on. Now I came back to the States here, and then you're the big dog now. People depend on you.
I think it starts with Alex was really coachable. You know, we had a good level of trust in one another, and so I would communicate with him, he would communicate back to me, but you know, he really trusted the process, and so, you know, we were on the same page from the recruiting process on with him and his family that he wanted to be a professional runner, and it was my belief and theirs as well that the surest way to not achieve that would be to get injured. You know, and it's hard in distance running. Sometimes they come, but you know, to really try to avoid those big injuries. And so we wanted to focus first on, you know, getting him like a base level of distance running, like you mentioned earlier. Like he hadn't come from a whole lot of training, and so just, you know, easing him into it. And then as far as the exposure in racing, we wanted to keep putting him in races that he could contend to win. You know, whether he did win them or not, you know, that wasn't as relevant. It was that we wanted to put him in a race where he can be towards the front and he can think about, you know, sniffing that finish line for the victory. I kept on improving a little bit. Even my conferences, I kept on performing well in conference level year by year. And then and it was not until 2019 was probably my best season when I won regional cross country and made it to national for my first time for my school. So that was really a big step, and I think it got me believing that I could do better. And then going into indoor, I think I ran that indoor season 13:28. That was like my big performance at that time. And yeah, sadly the nationals were cancelled in Albuquerque that time, but I was not able to continue to race at nationals indoor. But at least I knew in my back of my mind, I can run sub 13:30, so it's a big thing for me the first time I did that. And so over time, his training kept building and building and building, both in mileage and intensity and, you know, speed. And then the races kept going up a notch. You know, the first race he ran for us was at Boston University, and he was in the 5th heat of the 3K. But he won it in 80-20. Later that spring, I went to Bucknell. He won the race there in 14:06 in the 5K, and then a couple of weeks after that, 14 minutes at Penn Relays, winning that race. And then you fast forward all the way, through the last couple of years here. He ran 13:28 indoors at Boston University, and this time he's in the fastest heat with the top runners. And he got beat by 2 pros, but finished ahead of all the collegiate in that time, 13:28. That ended up ranking 3rd in the country. That was right before COVID, though, so that's when things got cut off. And then going into that last year, when he really started to take off. So I think he really responded well to that, just the gradual increase in training, but also learning how to race and learning how to win. I think really worked for him and his enjoyment of the sport. COVID happened. He got a cross-country season that he never thought he would have had, because he was going to be graduating that prior year. So he thought when he ran in Terre Haute, that was his last cross-country race. Now, months later, after finding out, the COVID rules and what was going to happen, he finds out he can come back and get his master's degree, and he's got all 3 seasons left. So it was like having, a new life, a new lease on life, that like, all right, I got one more chance for redemption here.
So going into that season, specifically, I told coach this probably will be my last season in college, and I wanted just to make a mark for myself specifically, because coming from conference, I told coach, now this is about the team. Going into nationals, I told him, this is about me. I want to leave a legacy. I just want to go perform the way I thought I could. So I just went out there and I asked him, he agreed. He told me, just go run your own race. And in my mind, I was like, I want to win this thing. I don't care. Nobody knows my name, but I trusted my training, I trusted my fitness. Went out there. Of course, Wesley was there, he took me hard. We helped each other the first 5K, but I remember thinking into 4K into the race, thinking that, seeing behind, I saw corner, and I think it was Adrian and Abdinur, and I was like, I think I'm gonna be top 5. So like at that moment, I was like, I'm gonna be top 5 at least, and I kept on pushing, wanting more. And I think that's one thing I don't regret at all. I raced well, without fear, because I knew these old guys. On a good day, I could have had better side of them, but I think I was short of fitness, because the last 1K really, everything fell apart, and I ended up finishing still 31st All-American, and that was my first time being an All-American, so yeah, also good.
When we got to that race in Oklahoma State, he was just so ready, so locked in. He was fit, he was healthy, just everything was dialed in, and all of our conversations always from recruiting on were never about coming in 2nd place or 3rd place. Obviously things aren't always going to necessarily work out the way you want, but like we were both on the same page that like we're trying to win, and we're trying to win everything that we go to. And so when he got to that race, that was the intention, and it wasn't like we just decided at that point, let's try to win. That was always the goal.
Of course, Hoka, really good plan. Ben Rosaria, I was coach at that time with Jenna. They really show me their plan. And I think out of all other sports I was saying, they really had something that could suit my own goals. Of course, becoming an Olympian, becoming a world champion, at one point in life. And I think at that time, I thought these are people who will help me grow as an athlete and, also as a person.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The thing I'm enjoying the most is watching, the kid that I met in Kenya, who was very much a kid, transition through college, become a man, now become a professional, and just like his maturation through that whole process. Obviously, he got faster, but more than that, like he's really grown as a person. So for me, that's the most enjoyable thing to watch. And then as far as the marathon, it's just something that was inevitable. So he's always shown those signs that he can be a really strong marathoner, and now he's going to have to run a lot faster than that. But he's always shown those skills that he can handle a long distance, and he can handle running fast for a long distance. So I wish he was running where I could watch him. Maybe next time we run New York City. We'll be following along on wherever it's streaming, and I think he'll do great. I think he's made for this distance.
To run a marathon, it's more than just running. Like, and I'll say this, you train so much for this, like mentally, especially mentally for me. Even just before I committed, telling coach I want to do a marathon next year. That was end of 2023 season, telling coach, you know, next year I want to do a marathon. So like that, mentally just thinking about it, you know, it means I've developed so much as an athlete to be able even to accept that I'm going to do a marathon first of all. So like just for me, being in that level, environment wise, it was a big challenge at first, but like accepting that I'm going to do a marathon. But I feel like a couple of weeks later or months later or years later, I'll probably look at this and say I think I made the right choice. Oh man, I think it's my body's at a point where I would say peak point, which means that my fitness probably at the level that my coaches and myself decided there to be. So of course the work has been done. Basically it's a little bit just less than 3 weeks before the big day. So at this point I think only one bigger week, not like biggest week but probably decent week, and from there it's just gonna be low mileage until race day. So at this point just like trying to recover as much quick as possible, trying to relax as much as possible, use less energy as possible, just doing other stuff outside running, and just relax, man. Just let the mind relax, waiting for the big day.